Planet of the Dead. More like Planet of the Flies. Get it? Because the fly people, and it's a spin on Lord of the Flies, because Tennant's a Time Lord. Just roll it. Just go to the intro. Hello everyone, I'm Papa Kenn and welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. Today is episode 45 and the episode of Doctor Who I'm going to be talking about is Planet of the Dead, as if my horrible joke at the beginning of this video didn't give that away already. So, even going into this, I don't completely know what to say about this episode, so let's get right into some of my favorite parts. Alright, the first of which was Lady Christina de Souza? Whatever. Anyway, she was played by Michelle Ryan, who has apparently been in some other BBC shows. She looked really familiar, but I have no idea who she is. I don't think I've actually really watched anything that she's been in, and if so, I don't know. But anyway, the character herself, I thought she was overall really fun. She was definitely a sort of amalgamation of a lot of the different companions that we've gotten in the show so far. She had quite a bit of Rose in her, she had a lot of Martha in her, and even just a tiny bit of Donna. Like, not... She wasn't as Donna was, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, it was just that made her familiar, and it made it easy to sort of embrace her as a companion, a temporary companion, obviously, but a companion all the same. I will say I didn't care for her overall, which I'll hit on a little bit more later, but. Like I was saying, as a character, as a temporary companion, I found her entertaining and I found her fun. And again, she felt familiar, so that made it easy to embrace her. Moving on, my second favorite part of this episode, Captain Magambo of Unit. Now, I know she was in the previous episode, Turn Left, in the little alternate universe. And, we get to see a little bit more of her. We get to see a little bit more of her actual personality in this episode, which I really enjoyed. And I have to say, I hope that she returns. I don't know how often she will, but I hope she returns, you know, throughout the rest of the run of this show, you know, even after David Tennant's gone, because I really liked her. I found her to be just a very interesting character and a very powerful woman, which, I don't know, I really like that. I want to find out more about her. Maybe she could be a temporary companion of the Doctor as well. It's unlikely, but that's something that I would honestly like to see. So yeah, just I really liked Captain Magambo, and I hope to see more of her. Now, my third favorite part of this episode was Malcolm. Malcolm, he was annoying, I will say that, but he was so adorable in how just fanboyish he was over the Doctor, and his just overexcited giddiness at even being able to talk to the Doctor. I just absolutely love that, and the fact that they do this little joke back and forth about how he named a unit of measurement after himself, blah blah Malcolms, and yeah, I found that to be a really cool thing, and also the way he actually stands up to Captain Magambo, who, I will say, I can understand her side of what she was trying to do. She wanted to protect the Earth. She wanted to keep this unknown assailant from coming over and just flat out destroying the entire planet. Completely understandable, but the fact that Malcolm stood up to her and waited for the Doctor and the others to come through really made me appreciate his character more so, and it added a little bit more dynamic to the captain, who, like I said previously, is like she was one of my other favorite parts of this episode. So yeah, just really liked Malcolm, and what he did added to my appreciation of Captain Magambo, which is all the better. Now, my fourth favorite part of this episode, Carmen the Psychic. Now, I feel like some of her, like, the woman's acting varied throughout the episode. Like, sometimes I felt like it was just a little bit too over-dramatic, but overall as a character, and overall, the actress did a good job, and the character, I liked her. I found her to be intriguing. The fact that, you know, they sort of expand... Well, have they hit on anyone that has psychic abilities on Earth before? Maybe in the classic series. I'm not familiar with, like, the classic... Or I'm not familiar with the classic, but, like, I don't remember anyone else in the new Doctor Who ever having, like, those low-level psychic abilities before. So maybe she's an anomaly or something, I don't know. But the fact that they hit on that at all, and then her powers increased when they went to this planet. I don't remember the name of the planet, but when they went to this planet with the 3 suns that was once a huge civilization turned to dust or sand. Yeah, just the way the psychic abilities worked, and some of the things she said to the Doctor really hit me. And this was actually one thing she said was actually one of the possibilities for my quote of the episode, and it was a referral back to the Doctor's song ending. Now, as you, if you saw the episode Planet of the Ood, or no, wait, it was like the 2-parter from Moffat, the one where River Song appeared. When she died, that I thought that they were talking about, like, you know, his song was ending. I thought that River Song dying was what they were referring to. And one of the commenters mentioned that's not what it was, so I can only assume now that this is further confirmation, basically, that David Tennant's Doctor, his time is ending. His song is coming to an end. So yeah, just the way that they had her say that, and the way that the woman said it to the Doctor, just really, it was just another, like, little jab to the gut, because it's just like, oh, his time's ending, I love this Doctor, why does he have to go? But moving on, my next favorite part of this episode, and I'll try to pronounce their name right, the Tritovores? Tritovores? The fly people, basically. And it's... I don't know, I found them really entertaining. I found the whole fact that they spoke in these clicky mumbles to be very interesting, and the fact that the Doctor was translating what they were saying to Carmen, or was her name Carmen? Yeah, Christina. Yeah, translating to Christina. And then there would just be those times where Christina would just be like, obviously that means this, because the flies were either frustrated or something. And yeah, I don't know, I just found them to be an entertaining... They didn't have they didn't spend a lot of on-screen time, but the time they were there, and especially once they were no longer a threat, I thought they were, you know, kind of cute in a way. And it made me really sad that they actually ended up dying because of what was going on. I was hoping at least one of them could potentially survive and then go to the planet Earth and some hijinks could ensue there. But yeah, it was sad that they had to die so soon, and although they played I guess an overall minor role in the episode, I liked them, and it was just funny to see 2 people wearing gigantic fly heads. It's... I'm sorry, I'm just picturing it in my head. But yeah, it was, and it kind of made me just think of the whole human fly thing. It's like, help me! I almost kind of wish that the Tritovores had spoken in a sort of a high-pitched voice. I just feel like that would have been absolutely hilarious to me, but maybe it was a copyright thing, or they just didn't feel like doing that, but yeah, I liked them overall. Again, minor characters, but they were enjoyable. Now, my final favorite part of this episode, number 6, the Stingrays. And I looked up what they might actually be called online. Apparently, they just call them the Stingrays. Because they were never designated an alien name. But, despite the admittedly kind of meh graphics having to do with them, I found them to be a very powerful threat, and that was why I liked them so much, because they're sort of overall sort of a hive mind, but they work in conjunction to travel from planet to planet and just decimate everything, and that's how they feed. And I don't know, just the whole idea of what they are, I really wish, or I hope that, you know, an episode will occur in the future, maybe where they reappear, so that we can learn more about them, because I just find them to, I think that they could be a legitimate threat in the future, especially if there's more than just one group of them going around to planets and like traveling through these wormholes. I think they could be a legitimate threat that could lead to some very interesting storylines, especially if, you know, the Doctor has to revisit them. How will he deal with them that next time? I don't know. I just think it would be really cool. So yeah, those are my favorite parts of the episode. You might notice that a large portion of them were just characters individually, or in the case of the Fly people, like 2 characters. But that brings us to my annoyances with this episode, and unfortunately, each of them is kind of, well, the first 2 are overarching, and then the third one is more specific. The first of which, my first annoyance with this episode, so much filler. There's just so much filler in this episode. There were so many, like, all the characters that were on the bus. I understand that you couldn't really have just like a bus with maybe like 3 people on it, where we only have the important ones like Carmen, her husband, Christina, and the bus driver, and the Doctor, obviously. But everyone else just felt like filler, even though they have like a little, you know, itty-bitty tiny character arc at the end where like 2 of the guys get a job with Unit in the end. It's just, it felt like complete filler, and really that's what I feel like so much of this episode was. It was just a huge filler episode that had a few very important moments, but not enough, in my opinion, to justify an entire episode, let alone a 60-minute episode, which brings me to my second annoyance, and that is, this episode was far too long. Far too long. This was definitely one of those episodes where I could feel, like, right around the time that a normal episode would end, I checked the timestamp and I still had 15 minutes left. And it was, it was driving me crazy. It really was. I feel like had they trimmed out 15 minutes of this episode, Kitty, if they had trimmed 15 minutes of this episode out, and they would have been able to get rid of a lot of filler, get rid of a lot of the extra characters that I know I didn't care about, and it just would have been overall better. Still, just like, you know, still a filler episode. There's nothing wrong with filler episodes, because every show is going to have them, because you can't, well, with some exceptions, it's like you're not going to have just constant story every episode right in a row. But yeah, it was far too long. I wish it had been shorter, and that would have helped my first annoyance, which was the filler. Now, my third and final annoyance with this episode is that it should have ended on the dramatic note. It just should have. It should have ended on that part where Carmen is talking to the Doctor, telling him about the, well, I wrote it down, something returning, and then something knocking, which I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes. But it should have ended there, because it was just such a perfect end note. And while I'm glad the Doctor did what he usually does and saved Christina, and you know, she went off to have her own adventures, I assume, it just feels like once that started happening, it took this powerful dramatic moment, this very good moment in this episode that was overall kind of meh. And I don't want to say ruined it, but it lost the impact. It lost the impact that it was already having. Like, Carmen says these things, and it's a punch to the gut, and you're just like, what? What's she talking about? And then, just, you know, the silly, fun moments, but still, it just... I feel like had they taken those events out of order and maybe like had what happens with Christina happen first, and she runs away, and then Carmen talks to him, it would have been more powerful overall. It would have been more enjoyable. I don't know. It's just me. Let me know what you all think. But that's how I personally feel about all that. Now, my quote of the episode is one that... It was another one of those dramatic moments that I really appreciated from this episode. And it's before the police come and take Christina to, to basically arrest her. She runs to the doctor and says that she wants to travel with him. And he says this: "People have traveled with me and I've lost them. Lost them all. Never again." And for me, the reason why that line is so important, and this is what's going on in my mind, is that it seems like the doctor is starting to shut people out. Like it didn't show so much in the previous episode, obviously, the Christmas special, the name of which I've forgotten. But, oh, The Next Doctor. But the loss of Donna has hit him so hard, and the fact that everyone else has someone, but he has to continue to go on alone. Just all of that mashed together, just seems like it really is affecting him. Like, it seems like he's making this decision that he's going to stay alone because he's tired of losing people. And that's a completely, that's such a relatable feeling. If that's actually what's going on. Because that's, again, that's just the way I'm interpreting it. If it's not, don't tell me. But, yeah, I don't know, that line broke my heart. It really did. Even more than the line from the Next Doctor where he talks about, you know, them breaking his heart. This one just shattered me. And then again, we have the whole little fun sequence that kind of takes away all the powerful dramatic parts, and it really bugged me. But anyway, my overall feelings about this episode. It was okay. It definitely had its shining moments. And the fact that a few of you told me that this was the first episode that was actually filmed in HD for the show, which, if that's the case, that really makes me feel a little bit ashamed for the quality that comes out of these videos, because I've had an HD camera the whole time, and I still do. I really need to get better lighting in here, don't I? Yeah, that might help a little bit. But anyway, yeah, it's like, that was cool, and I have to say, like, the scenes were interesting. Some of the characters were cool, and the whole, like, the Stingray storm, absolutely phenomenal to watch, even though the graphics weren't that great on them. But yeah, I found the episode to be overall meh, and it was because it felt like so much of it was filler, and despite it being a filler episode, it only had those few moments I felt really at the end that justified the episode existing at all. Which brings me to my question regarding what's going to be going forward, and it actually comes from the quote that Carmen says to the Doctor. "It is returning. It's returning through the dark. And then, Doctor, oh, but then he will knock 4 times. What? First of all, what's returning from the darkness? What? What is it? There's a few things I can think of. Like, is it the angels? Is it those friggin' shadow things? I don't know. But what is it? And then, and maybe they're throwing me for a loop here. They could be, you know, misleading me or whatever. But he will knock 4 times? master? It's gotta be. The master's coming back. Because someone came and grabbed his ring from that burning pile. So obviously something's going to happen. So he's going to do his whole knock thing. And the master's coming back. And do I really have a question from that? Is the master coming back? Don't answer that, but that's my question going forward. Is the master coming back? But again, don't tell me because I want to find out myself. That was a confusing one, wasn't it? Yeah, it really was. Alright, everyone, I apologize for the rambling there. But before I sign off, I do just want to say, if you missed the video already, click here to go to the 500 subscribers celebration giveaway contest. I called it a contest, but it's really a giveaway. And it's my way of thanking you all for subscribing and watching my videos. It really is. I've picked 4 different artists. You can check out some of their work, and one of those, well, you can get a print from one of them, and you can possibly also win a T-shirt from one of them. Thanks to her donating that to the contest, which is just amazing and awesome. But please, everyone, go here, check out that video where you'll be able to find all the rules so you can enter. It's running through the 23rd, so you know, there's not much. You still have a little, well, about almost 2 weeks left to enter, and I'm really looking forward to seeing who wins. I truly am. And if you don't want any of the art in particular, you know, if there's someone you love that might like some of the art pieces, it's like, you know, feel free to sign up and then you can win the piece for them. Or if there's anyone you know that might enjoy some of that art, or possibly even a T-shirt, you know, ask them to come on, subscribe to the channel, and you know, they might be able to win. So again, just like click here, go check that out. And again, thank you all so very much for joining this channel, subscribing, and watching these videos of mine. You all are just amazing, and again, it's like I wanted to do that giveaway for you all because of just how appreciative I am for you. But to wrap this up, everyone, thank you so very much for joining me on this episode, for listening to me ramble, and listening to the last little segment there about the contest. But I'll see you all next time, hopefully later this week, for the upcoming episode, The Waters of Mars. And if what some of you have told me is any indication, this should be a very interesting one. I can't wait. Alright, everyone, I'm Papa Ken, and until next time, almost lost my screwdriver. Alonzi!